What's up, guys? This is Robbie's World of Movies, the show where I like to go over all the latest news in the world of movies, plus give you some insight to what it means, and I like to appreciate films from the past. Well, for today's show, I don't have that many topics to go over in the world of movies, so I'm going to do something a little different. At the end of the show, I have a few questions that people often ask me, like family and friends, and I'm going to answer those questions to my fullest extent and give you my honest opinion. With that being said, let's cover the first news topic. And the first news topic is Han Solo. It's not called Han Solo the movie. It's called Solo: A Star Wars Story. It's the new. The title was just dropped, I think, yesterday for the new Han Solo spin-off movie. And for those of you wondering, this is going to come out in the summer of 2018. It's going to be a movie about Han Solo, and obviously, if you watch The Force Awakens, Han Solo died. But this movie takes place before A New Hope, so they recasted Han Solo. Chewie's going to be in it, and it takes place, I think, about 10 years before A New Hope. So it's going to be really cool to kind of dive into that world and just kind of see how Han Solo got the Millennium Falcon and just like a younger Han Solo again. That's going to be awesome to watch. Now on to the title. That's what the subject's about. Solo, a Star Wars story. I like the solo part. Personally, I think the solo part's pretty cool. Um, but I would just leave it at that. I don't really care for a Star Wars story. Even during Rogue One, I like me and like other critics, we refer to it as like um, just Rogue One, and I'm probably only going to refer to this thing as Solo. So, I mean, if it was called like Star Wars Anthology Rogue One or Star Wars Anthology Solo, then I would definitely be more happy with the title. But then again, it's just the title. I mean, they could call it whatever they want, and I'm still going to be there opening night to watch it. And I am so excited about this movie. There's a lot of drama that's been going on set. The Miller brothers are they directed films like 21 Jump Street and the Lego movie. Um, they were supposed to be the directors of this movie, and then I guess there was a falling out between them and Disney, and now they're not the directors of it anymore. It got taken over by let me check. It got taken over by Ron Howard. Ron Howard was the person that got taken over by, and I think that this is that was a pretty smart move. But apparently, the movie was like 85% done when Ron Howard took over. And then after that he added like maybe 4 months of shooting, and like there was 4 more months of production. So I guarantee you Ron Howard had a lot of changes to make in this movie. The new Han Solo is played by Aiden. I can't ever pronounce his name, so that's why I'm reading it. I can pronounce the Aiden part. Relax. Aiden Aaron Aaron Reach. I can't pronounce his last name, but that's who's playing the new Han Solo. He was in films like Hail Caesar, and let me check what else he was in. He was in films like Hail Caesar, Stalker, or no Stoker, and Blue Jasmine. He's Many of them aren't really that well known, well, except Hail Caesar, but Hail Caesar was a really huge disappointment. But yeah, he was in those films, and I'm definitely really excited to see his take on Han Solo. Now, most people were kind of like, "Oh, and this is Harrison Ford is Han Solo" and stuff like that. But like personally, I think they should treat it like they do James Bond. I mean, Daniel Craig is nothing like Sean Connery, yet most of us consider Daniel Craig the best Bond yet. So honestly, if they can treat this like a James Bond thing and he does his own spin on the character, and as long as it works, I'm gonna be happy. All right, on to the next subject. A new Justice League trailer dropped, and for all the positive I've had to say about this movie, this is gonna be one of the negatives. Probably one of the first negatives I've had to say about this movie, other than the whole entire Ben Affleck leaving. But that has nothing to do with Justice League. That's just a issue at DC. Um, this poster does not look good. It literally looks like a picture book that's going to be released for kids. Like whenever like Justice League comes out. It doesn't look that good. It looks all Photoshop. It's too bright. I mean, like it's just too light-hearted, And personally, like for Justice League, I wanted something a little bit darker. And even Marvel's posters are darker than that. So yeah, I really don't think that this poster looks that good. But then again, it's just a poster. I mean, the movie is going to probably more than likely be great if they're putting all this effort into it. It's probably more than likely going to be great. Keep in mind, you've had two directors put their touches on it. I mean, you have Zack Snyder who directed Man of Steel. Uh, that was Man of Steel. I think is very underestimated. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I think it's very underestimated. Then you also have he also directed Batman versus Superman, and he directed part of Justice League, and then Joss Whedon, who directed the Avengers and Avengers: Age of Ultron, came in and kind of finished up, and they added a lot of months and a lot of money to more like reshoots and like post production and stuff like that. They added a lot more money with Joss Whedon, so you're going to kind of get two really brilliant directors directing this film, and that really excites me, and I can't wait to see because I feel like the way I would do it is I'd have Joss Whedon to work on the dialogue and like this like furthering the story, and then I have Zack Snyder work on the action scenes, and I feel like that's gonna be perfect, and I feel like we're gonna get the best of both worlds from it, and I'm so excited for Justice League, and it comes out November 19th, and oh my goodness, I cannot be more excited just to see this team that I've been watching since I was a little kid on the big screen for the first time, and yeah, there's not much else to say about that. But back to the poster, I really don't like it. I liked the last one that came out a lot better. But then again, this is just a poster. I mean, I didn't like the Star Wars Force Awakens poster. That one right there. I didn't like it because it's too crowded. You got Han Solo, Princess Leia, Poe, BB-8, Maz Kanata, R2-D2, C-3PO, Chewie, Finn, Rey, Kylo Ren, Captain Phasma, a bunch of stormtroopers. I mean, like literally anybody that played a somewhat significant role in that movie is on that poster. But then again, I loved The Force Awakens, so it's just a poster. But I don't like this one. All right, now on to this next topic. It's not really a topic that dropped in the world of movies. It's been around for a while, but I just thought I would share it with you guys because personally, it's made my life so much easier, and I think that you guys would love it if you gave it a chance. I am talking about a thing called Movie Pass. Now, what Movie Pass is, listen, it's going to sound way too good to be true. And I thought that for maybe the first couple months I heard about it, and that's why I hesitated getting it. But then I got it, and it's probably one of the best things I've ever bought. It's a card that you get. It takes about maybe a couple to 3 weeks to come in the mail, but it's a card that you pay $10 a month and you get one movie a day every day. That's right, $10 a month and you get one movie a day every day. Even if you go to the theater maybe two or three times a month, you're still saving. Let's see. Let's say because at the Promenade the tickets are about 12.50. Um let's say at the Promenade, the theater that's closer to me, the tickets are about 12.50. You buy three tickets, that's 37.50. $10. You're saving 27.50. That's literally a great deal. And honestly, if you like going to the movies at all, or even if you go just once a month, you're still saving 2.50. Go get Movie Pass. I highly recommend it. It's no scam. I'm not sure how long they're going to stay in business, but personally, I've loved it and I've used it twice already. I went and saw The Foreigner with it, and then I went and saw Spider-Man: Homecoming again with it, and yeah, I mean, each time I just checked into the app, and then it said go ahead and go to the movie, and then I went into the movie and had a good time, and it's a great deal. So make sure to get Movie Pass. I mean, I highly recommend it, and you will not be sorry if you get Movie Pass. All right, now it's time for question time, and for the first question that I've often been asked is, what are your top five trilogies of all time? Now, basically, for all you people that aren't familiar with the terms and stuff like that in movies, a trilogy is one story that takes place over the span of three movies. One story that takes place over the span of three movies. So I'm going to list off a couple honorable mentions, and then I'm going to list off my top five. And for the first honorable mention, I have to mention Planet of the Apes, the newest trilogy, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes. I personally loved all three of these movies, and I think that they all just bring something different and unique to the table, and they're just like the development of the character Caesar, played by Andy Serkis. Just watching him like all three movies, just how he changes and like how he plays, goes from young and innocent to this leader of this army. It's amazing. And if you have not seen any of the Planet of the Apes films, I'm not talking about the original ones because I mean the original ones kind of get boring because they're like really old. And I'm not talking about that crappy Tim Burton one that came out in 2001. I'm talking about the one with Andy Serkis that came out in 2011, and then the other one that came out in 2014, and the one that just came out this summer. If you have not seen those, go check them out because they are really great films. Another honorable mention of mine has to be another really popular trilogy that I feel like is really underestimated, and that's Back to the Future. I think Back to the Future is a great trilogy. Um, it's it's kind of nice because in the first one they go, I think it was 30 years in the past, and then they go 30 years in the future, and then 100 years in the past in the Wild West. I think the third one was probably the weakest one, but then again, all film is subjective. Some people think that the third one was the best one, but like I think that that's definitely a really underestimated trilogy. It's not in my top five, but it's definitely really underestimated, and I think that it deserves a spot on the honorable mention list. Now on to the top five. At number five, and the reason why this is at number five is because the third one was so weak. I mean, that's why it's not higher. But the first two are so amazing. Godfather. Honestly, this is gonna sound really weird, but I literally recently watched The Godfather for the first time. And a lot of people that I talk to are saying that's like they're like I'm jealous because that's an experience. And trust me, watching The Godfather is literally one of those film experiences that like I wish I could relive again. I loved Godfather 1. I think it's probably one of the best films I've ever seen. And then Godfather 2 is probably in my top 5 films of all time. That's how good it is. I mean, they're probably like don't get me wrong, like they're probably like about maybe 3-hour movies each, but trust me, it's totally worth watching them. If you have like a whole entire weekend just to do nothing, watch The Godfather. I would highly recommend it. And I mean, watch Godfather 3 for the heck of it. I mean, but it's definitely the weakest film in the bunch. It's not that good. Um, but all of them were nominated for Best Picture. So that's something to be pretty proud of is the fact that all three films were nominated for Best Picture and 1 and 2 won Best Picture. So that's pretty good. And that means that they won the Best Film of the Year award, basically. And number 3 obviously didn't win it, but I mean, it was nominated still. But it's just that I think as a movie itself, it's okay. I mean, it's pretty good. But you throw the Godfather title in there, and that's what kind of made it bad because everyone's expecting such high things after seeing Godfather 2, and then Godfather 3 just kind of let everything down. At number 4, and this is most of you might not like this trilogy, and most of you might think like, why the heck is this on your list? But it's just because it's so special to me, and all film is subjective. So I mean, it's really special to me, and I honestly will defend these movies till the day I die. And that is the Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and Pirates of the Caribbean, At World's End. I love those movies. One of my first theater memories is when I was in second grade. I didn't go to the theaters a lot when I was like maybe 8 and under. I started going a lot when I was 8 and older. And I remember going with my mom and we just watched Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, and it was just amazing. And I loved the story. I loved the cliffhanger that it ended on. And then the next year I went to go see At World's End, and I just loved it. And then again, 4 really let me down, and it was terrible. And then 5 was it was okay. It was a huge letdown for me because I put a lot of anticipation into it, and it wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. So number 4 is Pirates of the Caribbean. Number 5, Godfather. At number 3, um, this one is like something that most people don't think about when they think about trilogies, but it is one of the best trilogies out there, and that is the Toy Story trilogy. And I'll tell you why. Other than the fact that it is a beautiful masterpiece of a movie and so special to me because one of my first memories ever was literally popping in the VHS of Toy Story and just watching it. And The thing is Rotten Tomatoes is a critic app where like they rate movies and stuff like that. If a movie gets like a 56%, then that means that only 56% of critics liked it. Get this. Toy Story 1 got 100%. And then Toy Story 2 got 100%. And Toy Story 3 is the lowest ranked film at a disappointing 99%. Yeah, that's right. The lowest rated Toy Story film is 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. So I think that it's a masterpiece, and everyone's seen Toy Story. I mean, if you haven't seen Toy Story, what are you doing? It's an amazing film. Oh, all three of them are amazing, I should say. And I mean, I love those movies. I could be sitting anywhere, and as long as Toy Story's on, I mean, I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll just sit down and watch it. I don't care how many times I've seen the movie. I can recite the whole entire movie. I love Toy Story. So there you have it. At number five, Godfather. Number four, Pirates of the Caribbean. And at number three, Toy Story. At number two is, where is it? Oh, I have it right on my desk. The Dark Knight. Oh my goodness. I mean, The Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time. Not just my favorite comic book movie of all time. It's my favorite movie of all time, and a lot of that has to do with Heath Ledger as the Joker. That's what made the Joker my favorite villain. But I will get into that topic later. But Batman Begins was amazing, and like it was the first origin story of Batman that we actually got to see, and I loved the movie. I remember watching it when I was about 7 and just being completely wowed by it. And then The Dark Knight comes out, and it's one of the best films of all time. And I remember being in love with that movie. And then The Dark Knight Rises came out. I mean, it was good. It was good. I think the reason why people didn't like it that much is because, like The Godfather, that's why they call the Dark Knight like the superhero version of The Godfather. Um, like The Godfather, the third one just didn't live up to one and two, and I think that's why a lot of people are disappointed with it. But personally, I love the Dark Knight trilogy, and that's why it's number two on my list. And when you hear number one, you're gonna totally understand why number one is number one. So number five, Godfather. Number four, Pirates of the Caribbean. Number three, Toy Story, and number two, The Dark Knight. At number one, I bet you can probably guess it already. That's right, Star Wars. Honestly, that's probably most people's number one. The Star Wars trilogy. I'm not talking about the crappy prequels. Literally, what was George Lucas thinking? But the Star Wars trilogy, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, three of the best made movies of all time. I mean, they're like three of possibly the best made movies of all time. They're just so amazing. My favorite out of the three of them is The Return of the Jedi because I remember at my sixth birthday party that was playing on the TV, and I just remember I love the movie. I think the best one of all time, not my favorite, but the best one, like critically and stuff like that, has to be The Empire Strikes Back. So I think that, and A New Hope is just great, but my favorite's Return of the Jedi without a doubt. But that there you have it, folks. That's my top five list of my top five favorite trilogies. So it goes Godfather, Pirates of the Caribbean, Toy Story, The Dark Knight trilogy, and Star Wars. On to the next question, and the next question is favorite film of the year and favorite film of all time. Favorite film of the year has to be Logan. Yeah, that's right, Logan. Not the best comic book film of the year, the best film of the year. I think Logan was just an amazing masterpiece. It was just like it felt like I was watching a western. And it didn't feel like a superhero movie. It felt like a movie about a hero. And that was just amazing. I don't think any other comic book film is going to top that. The only one that has the potential to top that is Justice League. And even the reviews for Thor Ragnarok have already come out, and no one's saying that it's on the same level as Logan. They're saying it's really good, but they're not saying it's like as good as Logan. So personally, I think Logan is the best comic book film, best film of the year. I think Hugh Jackman deserves an Oscar nom, and I think Patrick Stewart deserves a Best Supporting Actor nom. And yeah. Now my favorite film of all time, I just said this, Dark Knight. Why is it The Dark Knight? I love the story and the fact that the Joker in that movie is the best villain of all time, in my opinion. He's the best antagonist I have ever seen. It was just played so well by Heath Ledger, and like just the insanity that he brought to the Joker is something that I honestly don't see getting upped in like one upped in a really really long time. I thought Jared Leto had potential, and then after seeing Suicide Squad, I didn't think so. But then again, like there wasn't enough Joker in Suicide Squad to really tell. But Heath Ledger, he just took the Joker to something else, and I just like I love the music, like the dun 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 dun. Dun. That's my version of the Dark Knight music. But like I just love the music, and I love the like Hans Zimmer's score just adds a whole entire new element to it. The acting in it is so great. The story is amazing. And what I love most about Heath Ledger's Joker is the fact that he would legit say what he was gonna do, and then like they would try to prepare for it as much as they could. Like he said he was going to try to shoot the mayor and stuff like that. I think that was the only thing he actually managed not to do with that, and kill Harvey Dent when he was going to go to like at Bruce Wayne's party. But that was amazing. Whenever he said he was going to do something, he ended up doing it. And just his plan, and he like that's one of the films where the antagonist kind of wins. Yeah, he gets thrown in jail and gets caught, but in the end, he won because Batman literally has to go off into hiding, and like Gotham has to, like, Jim Gordon has to build a lie in order for Gotham not to go crazy. So that's why Joker, the Joker, is my favorite villain of all time, and that's why Heath Ledger is my favorite. Like the Heath Ledger as Joker is my favorite performance of all time, and that's why The Dark Knight is my favorite movie of all time. Now on to the last question. Favorite superhero or supervillain? Now, most of you think that the superhero one is obvious, and I'm going to prove you wrong. Favorite superhero of all time? It's not Batman anymore. Yes, I wear Batman shirts like every other day. I have Batman sliders, and literally, I have so much Batman stuff that it's like, wow, you might have a problem. But it's not Batman. My favorite superhero of all time is Wolverine. And that's because of Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman made me love Wolverine. He is just such a badass, and it's like literally one of the reasons why I love him so much is because X Men First Class. He only had one line in that whole entire movie. Like he had a little cameo, and he had one line in that whole entire movie, and the line was "Go yourself," and that just makes it so awesome. And like then again, like the thing that stinks about it is he had two bad movies and then just an outstanding third movie. Well, X Men Origins Wolverine, awful. The Wolverine, first two acts were good, and then three kind of ruined it. But then Logan came out, and it was just amazing. So definitely Wolverine slash Logan. That's my favorite superhero of all time. And my favorite villain of all time. I've already said this like 5 times in this video. The Joker. He has no morals. He's just so insane. And like whenever he's in on the big screen, it's just like he literally is someone who comes to ruin the day. and when it comes to the Joker like adaptations, I'd have to say number one is obviously Heath Ledger. Number two would have to be Jack Nicholson. I mean, that was just so classic, and he played a really good Joker. And then Jared Leto, and then Cesar Romero. Those are my top four live action Jokers. My favorite Joker of all time is actually like no, like I think my favorite Joker like of all time, it has to be a toss up between Mark Hamill and Heath Ledger, because Mark Hamill kind of gave the Joker this new personality we'd never seen, and then Heath Ledger kind of gave the Joker. They're both so different. I mean, they're equally insane and they have no morals, but they're just both so different. And Mark Hamill's Joker, he's in the animated series. Mark Hamill, who also plays Luke Skywalker, voices the Joker. So that's why he's not one of my favorite live action ones. But honestly, like whenever someone asks like Hamill or Ledger, I can't come up with an answer because they are just so freaking good. Like which one like impacted me more? I'd probably have to say Heath Ledger, but I mean, I grew up with Mark Hamill as the Joker, and it's just like that's something I don't know if it can get beat, and they're just so different. It's like it's really hard to compare them. Well, that'll do it for today, guys, on Robbie's World of Movies. Hey, make sure to hit that like button if you really like this video. And also, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe. And leave some comments of constructive criticism. Let me know what I can do to make this video more enjoyable for you. Thank you again, and I'm your host, Robbie D. Herrera. And until next time, bye.